Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We're just going to give it another minute and then we will get started today. All right. So good afternoon to everyone and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today for our first official Women at Saffron membership call since our relaunch. We're really excited to have you here and to kick off this new chapter. As we continue rebuilding and growing Women at Saffron, I want to pause for just a moment on our mission and vision. We're keeping them in our presentations so that they stay front and center for all of us, especially as new members join. Yes.
I'm so sorry,
mute?
Crystal. No, you're not. Can you mind sharing your screen with everybody and then?
Sorry, I didn't reshare after we started the recording.
No worries.
Let me just go back here and share. Can you see my screen now?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Okay, so we do want to keep our mission and our vision at the front and center of all of our calls. Especially as we have new members join us and as our direction continues to take shape. At the heart of our mission is creating a community where everyone feels supported, a space that strengthens both of our professional and personal growth, and it helps develop, retain, and uplift all of our talent across Saffron. Our vision really expands on that. It reflects our commitment to meaningful development opportunities, building connections across all of our Saffron sites, and creating a network where we can share experiences, best practices, and mentorship. This is the foundation of everything we're building together, and it guides our initiatives and conversations we're having as we move forward. I also want to continue giving shout outs to our Women at Saffron Leadership Committee. These are the women who help make everything we do possible, from planning these events to guiding the initiatives and making sure that our group stays aligned with our mission and vision. They're here to support you, answer your questions, help you to get involved. So don't hesitate to reach out to anyone if you would like to contribute or have ideas to share. We do have Renata on to walk us through our icebreaker this afternoon.
Thank you very much, Crystal. Let's move on to one of my favorite sections, the icebreaker activity. So I will.
Renata, we can't hear you.
We lost you.
Please hang with us while we are getting Renata back. She has something very fun in store for us.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
ma'am.
Oh, I am sorry for that. Okay, I was saying that let's move to one of my favorite sections, the icebreaker activity. So I would love for you ladies, guys, to share which song you have been listening to over and over lately. Feel free to turn on your microphones and share with us. So, what song do you love?
I'll start maybe to move everyone. I watched K-pop Demon Hunters. Don't judge. And I really love the song Golden. So I've been playing it a lot.
No, I agree. I love that movie as well. For instance, in my case, I love listening to electro house, electro pop music. I feel energized and I feel happy and motivated to start a hard workout session or to go for a long running. So what about you, ladies? How do you feel when you listen your favorite song?
We've got a lot of them coming through in the chat. Lots of good songs. A lot of people listening to Teddy Swim.
Oh.
Teddy Swims or Lose Control, and lots of K-pop Demon Hunters.
More K-pop fans. I like that. Avicii. Oh my God, that's a good one. I listen to Avicii as well.
Jelly roll.
Jelly Roll. Yeah.
I've been listening to The Life of a Showgirl on repeat.
Oh, yes.
So for the Swifties out there.
Nice. Yes.
Wrecking Ball, Miley Cyrus. Oh wow, that's a good one. I love her.
But definitely diverse. The different music selections here for sure.
Christmas songs also we got here.
Ready. We're already there.
Oh yeah, it's time for the Mariah Carey team Christmas
Yes.
song. It's time.
There's also Jelly Roll, some worship songs. Lady Lady, Aretha Franklin. Nice.
All good
Yeah.
vibes.
Caribbean music.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah, I love. We had a lot of suggestions to add to our playlist.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, well, thanks for sharing, ladies. Would you like to continue, Crystal?
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right, Stephanie.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. We are so excited to introduce to you our guest speaker, Sadie Wackett. Sadie is an accomplished executive coach. She's a leadership advisor, a former chief people officer with over 20 years of global experience in strategic HR leadership, organizational transformation, and values-driven performance. She is an ICF accredited coach, and she's also the co-founder of Life Intended, a movement dedicated to empowering women in self-leadership and purposeful living. So today's topic, breaking through limits, is going to invite us to explore how our social and our professional worlds sort of shape the way we show up at work and in life. And Sadie's going to walk us through the different beliefs and patterns that can sometimes hold us back from feeling confidence, being able to really self-express and make effective decisions. So she's going to be sharing some practical tools, some insight to kind of help us shift those patterns. So please join me in the chat in welcoming Sadie Wackett to the Women at Saffron membership. Sadie, we're going to hand it off to you.
Thank you. Thanks, Stephanie. Thanks, Chantal. Thanks, everyone. I'm really pleased to be here. I actually wasn't aware it was your first one, so I feel especially honoured for this relaunch. Not only because actually I just wanted to acknowledge what you're doing at Saffron, because there seems to be a shift away from supporting the groups inside organizations like women's groups. And I think you mentioned it already, Chantal, that the importance of and the value of connection and mutual support and growth and development is unspeakably crucial, especially in today's environment. So I just commend you, applaud you for doing this, and hopefully today I can offer a bit of input and insight for you all. So is it okay if I grab the screen and I'm going to share some slides?
Absolutely.
With that being said, I just will start by saying I really hope that if you feel comfortable, come off camera. If you feel very comfortable, feel free to share some of your reflections, raise your hand and just speak out loud. If not, please put your comments in the chat, because it's hard to make these very interactive, but I want to make it as interactive as possible while we're on this call together. All right, so I'm going to grab the screen here. Can you tell me if you see my screen at all?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's the slide that says breaking through limits, right? Okay,
Yes.
cool. All right, thank you. All right, so I won't do much of an introduction because Stephanie did a good job there, but I will say, you know, I'm very familiar with the industry space that you guys are in. I've been in it for the last 10 and a half years. I was CHRO at my previous company, and I left there in January to start my own venture. I'm from the UK originally, but I'm now based in the US, and I've been here for about 10 years. I have an 8-year-old daughter. She was born over here, and, you know, I'm kind of one foot in two countries at the moment. I try and get back to England when I can, but home is now here in the US. So just all that to say, I think, is that that's afforded me and offered me a real insight into culture. So we think, well, because we speak the same language, we're a similar kind of country. It's very different. I've learned so much in my 10 years about life here, values here versus Europe. And the work I've been doing more recently, some of that's really come to light, and it plays into some of these kind of limiting beliefs and conditioning that I'm going to talk to you a bit more about. So the first thing I want to do is just start with something very real. So I'm going to ask you to, well, I'm going to read you 10 statements, and I just want you to put a check mark. Hopefully you've got like a pen and paper or something. Put a check mark next to, on the paper for each of these statements that I read out that feel true for you. Okay, so number 1, I'm carrying so much and I don't feel like I'm doing anything well. I say yes even when I don't want to. I work twice as hard and feel half as confident. Some days I feel like I'm barely holding it together. I don't want to be a burden, so I just push through. I don't want to ask for help. I second guess myself. I wait until I'm about 100% certain before I speak up. And people think I'm more confident than I feel. I'll read them out again and just listen to them and see which one feels like they resonate with you. I'm carrying so much and I feel I'm not doing anything well. I say yes even when I don't really want to. I work twice as hard and feel half as confident. Some days I feel like I'm hardly holding it together. I don't want to be a burden, so I just push through. I don't like asking for help. I second guess myself. I wait until I'm 100% certain before I speak up. And people think I'm more confident than I feel. All right, so listening to those, which ones feel like they resonate? Oh, wow. We've got some high numbers here. All right. That's interesting. Yeah. 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 Tens. Yeah. All of them. All of them. Well, thank you for jumping in with that, because today's session is all about these internal patterns that shape how we lead, how we communicate, how we make decisions. So what I wanted to do today was just start to uncover the reasons why we're holding these beliefs, the reasons why we have these thoughts and beliefs about ourselves that are holding us back. Because what you'll find is actually you're not lacking anything. You've just been carrying beliefs around with you that may not have been yours, that you chose, and they may certainly not be serving you anymore. And so there'll be a bit of learning, a bit of practice, some reflection, and then hopefully a little commitment to take some action at the end. So the next thing I'd like you to just think about here is, I've called it the gap that changes everything. So I'd like you to just spend a minute and write down a few words, 3 words, that you would use to describe yourself at work. And then when you've done that, write down 3 words you think that others who you generally trust would use. So 3 words that you would use to describe yourself, and then 3 words that you think others who you generally trust would use. And then just notice the gap between those words. And maybe put one word in the chat that surprised you. There's a gap that we have in how we perceive ourselves and how others perceive us. And generally speaking, most women will underestimate how others see them and overestimate how harshly we feel we'll be judged by other people. Again, that's not truth. That's how we've been conditioned. That's how we've been designed. So, you know, it's interesting just to note that we feel like this is just normal because this is just the way it is. We are very harsh on ourselves and we believe that others judge us harshly as well. So we want to understand what's creating that distance. All right, so this is a little bit of teaching here for a moment. So I want to spend a couple of minutes here to share with you something that has been really revelatory and game-changing in my life personally. And this is a model that I'm using, which I hope will help me make sense of some of the reasons behind these limiting beliefs we have, or these thoughts and judgments about ourselves. So this is like the developmental framework, if you like. So to begin with, so our outer behaviors, the things that others see about us, so whether that's how we perform, how capable we are, our actions that we take, our results, our behaviors, they're all driven by our inner world. So if you think about it like an iceberg, the inner world is everything underneath the surface, the things that we don't see, they're subconscious to us, they're just in us, and we barely even know they're there. And they're made up of our beliefs, our values, the way that we've been taught to make meaning of things in the world, the way that we've been taught to make meaning of people, of places, of events, of things. This is how we've been conditioned. So from the year you were born through to the age you are now, you've been living in different environments. So whether that was your family of origin, your parents, your caregivers, the people that you surrounded yourselves with when you were young, whether that's maybe you went to church, maybe you still go to church, and religion and religious communities play a big role in your life. Maybe it was school. School has an incredibly big influence on you and the things that you hear, the things that you absorb, the things that you learn. It was the work environment that you were in. It was other family members that you have. All of them have invisibly, if you like, created this inner set of beliefs, fears, conditions that you have underneath the surface that are driving how you show up outside in the outside world. So I'm going to share a story, which is my own story, which is what I want to choose to try and illustrate this a bit. So I was one of 4 kids. I had, mum and a dad, grew up in the middle of England, and, fairly average family, nothing, nothing exciting to speak of. But my mum and dad both worked. My dad traveled a lot. My mum, was busy with her job. She was a teacher of special needs children. And so, I grew up really kind of scrabbling around for bits of attention here and there. I was the third of 4. So, my mum had her hands full, and I was the one sort of trying to get my mum's attention, trying to get, some sense of, affection, love, whatever you want to call it. And it was really difficult. I ended up, being what I was told at the time, I was very complicated. I was very difficult. I was too much. I was recognized and rewarded for being tidy, being quiet, being good, you know, not making a fuss, not showing off, not being disruptive at all. But I was an emotional kid. Like I really needed some attention. I needed some love. I needed some, you know, somebody to kind of notice me. And so there was this kind of real tension there as I was growing up. And so there was a chapter in my earlier life, started in my teens, which was almost entirely shaped by criticism, both internal and external. It showed up really significantly as an eating disorder. So I developed anorexia. And if any of you know or have experienced any kind of eating disorders, which I'm sure, you know, percentage-wise, the number of people on this call, somebody will have had some experience with it. I came to learn underneath it was something much deeper, which was a belief, like a really intrinsic belief that I wasn't good enough. I wasn't enough. I wasn't disciplined enough. I wasn't capable enough. I wasn't as smart as my sisters. I wasn't as pretty as my sisters, etc., etc. So it just fueled this kind of obsession with trying to do everything right, trying to perfect my grades, trying to perfect my behavior, trying to perfect my achievements. And it was exhausting. And I absorbed this belief in myself that if I get it wrong, it means I'm wrong. So there was this, it was all wrapped up together. So if I make a mistake, I'm the mistake. If I fail, I'm the failure. And it just, it was a heavy load for me to bear. And that belief then kind of followed me into my early career. I had my first big leadership role in very male dominated, very high pressure, performance led environments. And I experienced quite a lot of toxicity. And even though I knew I was capable and committed and quite intuitive about people, I was surrounded, I was in an environment where it was all about kind of hardness, dominance, always being right. And so I started to pick up new rules about what success looked like, what achievement looked like. So it was don't show any vulnerability, don't show any emotion, don't speak until you know what you're going to say, don't take up too much space. And so, like I said, there was this dissonance because I kind of knew internally that I was capable, but these beliefs about how others saw me and the gap between those two things just came really, really hard. And so I wanted to understand, where did they come from? Who gave them to me? Why do they still have this much power over me? Because it was constricting me, and I knew that. And so through, you know, what's now probably 13, 14 years of work, I began to realize that none of these beliefs were actually mine. They were all inherited from how I grew up, from the culture, from the friends I had at school, from the bullies that bullied me at school, from my childhood, from the environments I was in. And once I could see that, I could kind of separate myself from it. And that's when things started to shift. And so one of the most important things I learned, and I want this to, you know, so I want you to think about this and maybe take this away with you, is that the story you tell about yourself becomes the ceiling that you live under. You can't get beyond that story that you're telling yourself about yourself. So, you know, like I said, once I could see my stories, I could question them and I could try and understand, where did they come from? And do I still want them? Do they still serve me? Have they served me so far? And are they ones I want to carry on living by? Because I think I want something different out of my life and it doesn't feel like this. All right. It sounds like this resonates. So, and I would say as well, like this slide that you see here, the outer game and the inner game, once you can start to see this and use this, it becomes very powerful in the way that you show up, whether it's in your relationship with others, whether it's in, you know, how you lead, how you engage with people in your team, the boundaries you feel you can set with other people. It really does make a difference.
Sadie, I was just going to jump in here real quick. I mean, there were a lot of comments in here from your previous activity where people were saying, oh, too sensitive, too transparent. And so it's so interesting to hear that feedback from everyone, and then to hear you say that kind of the stories that we tell ourselves, that really resonates.
Yeah. And I apologize because I can't really see all
Oh,
the
no, you're
chat as I'm
good.
doing this.
You're
So thank
good.
you for calling it out, because the other thing that you'll see as we go through this is that you're not alone in these beliefs. And this is not unique to one woman. This is I mean, I've been coaching many women recently, and I have quite a few clients at a very well-known aerospace company that has X in the name. and it is pervasive, you know. So so the question is, like, why? Where does it come from? And the other question is, what can we do about it? So yeah, this slide here, it really just, and maybe you'll resonate with this. This is like, these are the rules. This is how I kind of captured the rules that we learned to live by early on, by watching our, like I said, our families, our parents, our school, our workplaces. And these are ones that resonated with me, like, don't be a burden. You need to do it all. You need to be perfect. You need to stay agreeable, or, you know, don't make a fuss, don't stand out. And think about it as though, you know, when you're a baby, newborn babies are not born doubting themselves. We learn it. We learn it. We learn it from people around us and from society. And often it is so subtle, it's imperceptible. So the work what I'm doing here is trying to just, what I call lifting the veil, like trying to lift the veil up so you can see that this isn't your fault. This isn't the way that you are. This is how we've been designed within the systems that we live in. You know, and once, like I said, once we know the rules that we've absorbed, we can start to choose whether we want to keep them, because what we've learned, we can unlearn. Now, the other, I just want to check the comments and see if there's anything I need to respond to. Okay. The other, so the other thing I want to touch on here is something that sits underneath almost every single limiting belief, which is how we relate to failure. And I just shared my story, and I wanted to bring it up here because I want you to think about the last time you really beat yourself up for getting something wrong. So I'm just going to assume it's not going to be very hard for people to think of a time recently where you beat yourself up for getting something wrong. How did you talk to yourself? What did you say to yourself? And as you're thinking about that, I'm going to play back what I said a little bit earlier, which is, did it sound like, oh, I made a mistake? Or when you dig deeper, did it feel more like, I am a mistake? I am the mistake. If it's the second one, yeah, I'm a failure. How stupid can I be? Yeah. Yeah, people agreeing. Yeah, sometimes I'm rude to myself. Yeah. And I'll get onto that. But this, I am saying to ourselves, unconsciously, we might not even realize we're saying it, but believing I am the mistake, that second one, that's where shame comes in. The shame is something where perfectionism, overperformance, self-protection, that's all driven by this feeling of shame, like I'm just not good enough. And if failure becomes who we are, then we try and spend our lives performing to stop it being kind of exposed, as it were. And that's exhausting. It's just exhausting. And it's that not only is it exhausting, but it's not true. It's not true. It's a story we're telling ourselves that is somehow, somewhere along the way, it's been conditioned in us. So that's, now I want to help you try and offer you a tool or a framework to start to unpick some of this. So So this is a very simple framework, and the reality is that there is no quick fix, there is no silver bullet, there is no magic pill we can swallow to change how we see ourselves, how we think about things, because it's like pathways that have been deeply trodden over, depending on how old you are, in my case, 40 something years. It's hard to tread different pathways, but it is possible. It just takes commitment and it takes time. So I want you to just experiment with this for a minute. And the first thing to do, when the moment you feel any pressure, any doubt, any self-criticism, the most powerful thing to do is pause. And that interrupts this autopilot reaction that you have, that your natural conditioning wants you to follow. So in that moment, you just take a breath, take a beat, and then you notice, okay, what story am I telling myself right now? This is the important thing. This is key to allowing yourself to surface these limiting beliefs that are coming up in real time. Because normally, remember the iceberg, they're below the waterline. What you want to do is bring them to your conscious awareness so that you can call them out. Because that's to the third point, when you give it a name, the naming of it pulls it out of your identity, and now it's in your awareness, and you can look at it more subjectively, or objectively rather. So if, to use an example, I should already know this, I should be able to handle this, I should be able to fix this. So when you're feeling, whether you're in a meeting or, your team is expecting something of you, and inwardly you kind of feeling this kind of contraction, this constriction, and your stomach's maybe, feeling like you've got a pit in your stomach, or your heart's racing, or you're getting a bit sweaty, or whatever the sign is, that's the key to pause. That's the key to interrupt what's going on and ask yourself, okay, what am I telling myself here? Because this is causing this reaction in me, and chances are it's not necessary. So you give it a name, you say it, out loud, or not literally out loud, but you can. And you can say something like, okay, that's my perfectionism talking. Okay, that's the old don't be a burden rule, or that's my fear of judgment showing up. So naming it is the most powerful thing you can do. And if you remember the phrase, name it to tame it, that's a good way of remembering. And then when you've done that, when you've named it, then you get to choose. This is where your self-leadership comes in. You get to choose the truth that you want to operate from. So here's some examples that you could say. My voice has a value even before I'm 100% ready. So that's if you're kind of second guessing yourself in a meeting and kind of, I can't say that because I'm not 100% sure. You still have value. Your voice still has a value even before you're 100% ready. Secondly, I do need boundaries because they help me lead better, or they help me relate with my kids better, or they help me communicate with my partner better. Or also, asking for support, which we often perceive as failing. Asking for support builds connection. Asking for support shows that I'm resourceful. And if I take a break, it will allow me to rest. And if I can rest, I can be more patient and creative. This is another big limiting belief that women have, which is about, I can't rest. If I rest, I am lazy. And I don't know if this one resonates with you, but it definitely does with me. I still suffer from this because my mum never let me sit down, never let any of us sit down. We always had to be busy doing something, being productive. And so now, I I can't remember a time when I just sat on the sofa. And I wonder if this resonates with you as well. If you do sit on the sofa and you're on your own and somebody walks into the room, do you leap up and pretend that you weren't sitting on the sofa? You know, this is like, yeah, we've got these like ingrained patterns in us. But you know, it's not easy, but it is solvable. It takes time and it takes commitment, but it's solvable. All right, so this is over to you now. What's one belief or unspoken rule that you've been living by that feels outdated or it feels heavy? So pick something that you feel is weighing on you, and then go a little bit deeper and ask yourself, okay, so what's it costing me? What's it costing me in terms of my energy, my confidence, my opportunity, or my peace? So, you know, I'll share again that example I just gave of not resting. So this belief that I have to be constantly productive is something I'm really trying to like personally work on. I don't believe it's society, it's our capitalist society that like says you've got to be at your desk, you've got to be at your computer, you've got to be busy, you've got to be hustling. But in reality, it's costing me my peace. If I can't sit down and rest and feel not guilty for doing that, then I lose my ability to have peace. So think about your own. Yeah, my worth depends on others' approval. That's huge. That is huge. And what's that costing you? Yeah, I don't like to argue. You can't express fully what you think or feel. Yeah. Some things can definitely wait to get done. Yeah. They can, but we don't allow ourselves often. Yeah, that's another good one, Stephanie. This is the what is it? Comparison is the root of all suffering. You know, if you live on social media and you're kind of comparing yourself to how others are showing up, that can lead to a lot of suffering as well. So I'll just give you a second to just to see if there's anything else that anyone wants to share as you're thinking through this. Yeah, you've got to be amazing, you've got to be faster, you've got to be perfect. And while you're writing as well, I'll just share, you know, the environment we're living in right now, especially with AI and the pace at which companies are moving, the pace at which life is moving, it feels like we have to keep up with that pace. Whereas in reality, human beings weren't ever designed to keep up with this pace. It's more than we can kind of metabolize right now. And if we're not able to take a break and pause and recharge and reset our nervous systems, we can't be our best self for other people. And you may have heard this one a lot before, but it's the best analogy I can think of when you're in an airplane and they tell you to put your own oxygen mask on first before you can help anyone else. I really think this is something we should kind of have printed on our walls, stuck on our mirrors, stuck on our monitors. Because if you aren't able to be your best self, then the people around you don't get the best of you. Okay. All right. So, as I said, if this old rule that you've been living by no longer serves you, what is the more empowering truth that you want to live by? And here are some examples, especially for the lady that said, you know, their worth is based on everybody else. This one is something I love. My worth is inherent. I don't need to earn my value through perfection or overwork. I am enough just as I am. I had a magic wand this is what I would gift every single woman with, this belief that they embody. Another truth could be, boundaries help me to lead better. Saying no to what doesn't serve me creates space for what does serve me. Protecting my energy makes me more effective, and my voice matters. I don't need to be certain to contribute. My perspective adds value, and speaking up builds confidence. So if any of those resonate, feel free to steal one of those. You are welcome to take them, and all of them. And there are more as well. There are many more. And ask yourself, like, how does this truth, this new, more empowering truth, align with what you value most? If you value health, if you value growth, if you value your well-being, if you value fairness, and if you value integrity, this is your opportunity to align with what you believe, your values, and how you're choosing to make choices in your life. Okay. All right, so what I want to do now, and this is a bit I really like. So it's all very well cognitively processing this, and I think it's helpful information, but what I want to do now is try and embody this with you. So I'm going to ask you, most of you have got your cameras off anyway, but if you haven't got your cameras off and you want them off, that's fine. I just want to do a brief visualization. So 2 minutes, and I'm going to ask you to sit back in your chair and just soften your breath. And if you feel comfortable doing so, gently close your eyes or soften your gaze on the desk in front of you. And just take 3 slow inhales and exhales. Just letting your breath guide you and ground you. And feel your feet on the floor. Feel the sensation of your seat in the chair. Allow your body to soften. Allow your shoulders to relax. Allow your cheeks to relax, your forehead to relax. Now, bring to your mind the old rule that you wrote down. This one rule that you've realized you've been living by. And just notice what happens in your body. Notice your breath, your shoulders, your stomach maybe, your jaw, your chest. Just see how that judgment, that belief that maybe no longer serves you, see what reaction that has in your body, and just notice. And now gently bring to your mind this new truth, this new, more empowered truth to your mind. The one that feels more honest, more aligned with your values, more aligned with who you want to be. And just breathe into that for a minute. And just notice what shifts around you. Maybe the space, warmth, presence. And now imagine a moment this week where this belief has held you back in the past. See yourself in an environment where you remember this old belief holding you back. And then see yourself being in that moment with this new, more empowering truth in your body. And just picture yourself for a moment. How would you speak? How would you stand? How would you decide? How would you choose? How would you lead differently? And then just notice what's different. What's different in this other person that entered the picture? How is she standing? How is she talking? How is she feeling? And when you connect with her, just ask her, what's possible from here? Where can I go from here? And then when you're ready, just gently bring yourself back into the room that you're in. And if you want to put your camera back on, that's great. And in this moment, just if you can, if you've got a piece of paper, just write a quick comment with what it is that came up for you from that. Your old belief, this new belief, and this new person. If you want to drop anything in the chat, do so. Okay. So that's the wrap up from my session today, but I do want to ask you, well, I want to say, first of all, remember this, you don't need to become more. You need to remember who you are beneath the conditioning. And that's where the work is, this inner self, that you've got the opportunity now to decide, who is she? Who was she? Who do I want her to be now for the future? It's very exciting. And I'm really glad to have been able to be here with you. I would like to ask a question, that if you could design more work like this that you think would help you, I think that would be great to add in the chat so that we know what's resonant for you, what you need, what you want, based on what's come up for you today. And you can chat it now or later. Yeah, I love that, lighter. And that's, you can get lighter within 2 minutes, and you can feel much more empowered in 2 minutes. That's all it takes. That's great. Okay, I'll finish just by saying, this is me. I'm sure you guys, you can connect with me on LinkedIn or through Stephanie and Crystal, but I'm honored to be here with you, and I would love any Q&A, any chat, however you want to take it forward.
Sadie, thank you so much for that. I know I was sitting here like, wow, just that activity alone, super helpful. I'll open it up, and if anybody wants to unmute or in the chat ask any questions of Sadie, we'll give some time for that. So we'll just pause here to just see if there's maybe any additional thoughts or questions from our members.
Yeah, I'm really happy to take questions if you want to type them in or come off mute.
And definitely we can have, we'll share Sadie's information afterwards. There's some opportunities to connect and to further the conversation. And definitely Sadie will be looking at potentially having further conversations about how we can help our members going forward.
Yeah. Well, this is, just as people are kind of reflecting, I feel that today more than ever, this is the work that we need for women. I'm not doing this for any personal gain other than I believe so passionately that you all, as I did and do, have so much more potential within you that's kind of concealed with this. I think of it like a sort of invisible cobweb. If you can see the cobweb, you can start to like pierce a little hole in it and pull it apart. But if you don't know the cobweb's there, it's hard to do that. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Sadie, we've got a few more slides to share with our members.
Okay.
So if you want to stay on in case there's any other questions that might pop up or in the chat, we'd love to have you stay on for a little bit more.
I will do. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. And do we still have Diana? Are you still on the call?
I am here. Is the sound okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's go through the upcoming events. We have designed these sessions with the thinking in mind in your personal growth, in your professional development. So next month, we will learn about how to navigate obstacles and bounce back from these setbacks. Daisy Garcia will be joining us for this presentation. I will present to you more of her background in the next slide. In the following months, we have sessions such as negotiation and influence. We will learn as well how to build your professional brand. As well, we will have a special event in March focusing Women's International Day. And in April, we will be learning how to build a meaningful connection. Crystal, and then if we go to the next one, Daisy Garcia, she will be our speaker for the next month. She's a first generation Mexican American, and she is a law student and the founder of a gang intervention program in PUCXO. Gang intervention programs have in mind to support a pathway to get out of gang life, providing social services, as well as improving the community safety. Daisy was awarded with by the Los Angeles College Football with an award that is called Champions Educate Here. This award program provides financial support to educators that have provided a pathway through sports or physical activity to improve the mental well-being and the social needs for the students. So Daisy has this in mind. She has put in efforts and she has been recognized by the College of Football in Los Angeles, and she will be joining us next month.
Thank you.
As well, we will be taking on your feedback for future events. So if there's a topic that you have in mind, please drop it in the chat and we will take a look and to see if we can support and organize it in the coming months.
Thank you. All right. We are still looking for passionate and dedicated members who share in our mission and want to help shape the continued growth within our group. We as a leadership committee will be reviewing some resumes next month, so you still have time to send us your resume if you're interested. If you want to get involved with just a few lines about why you'd like to join the leadership committee, because we are looking for women just like you to join us. So we're happy for that. Together, we can continue to expand our reach and the success of our ERG and ensure that everyone has the opportunity to grow, connect, and make an impact. Something new we want to add into our calls each month. I'll let Stephanie talk about the next slide.
All right, so we wanted to share with our members some leadership opportunities that are available within the various Saffron companies. We have actually 2 VP positions that are open right now with Saffron Aero Systems in our evacuation division. So we have VP of Operations and VP of Quality. So we wanted to make sure that we brought this to the attention of all of our members, that they're currently looking for these critical roles. So for these 2 roles, they'll both oversee 3 locations. So it will be Liberty, Mississippi, Wall Township, New Jersey, and Chihuahua, Mexico. So if you have experience in managing multicultural sites, this might be an opportunity that would be of interest to you. For both roles, they are shown here, but we have them posted online and I'll share them with everybody afterwards. But I wanted to call that out because they are two very critical VP roles and we're looking for internal talent to fill those roles. Some additional roles I wanted to highlight as well. Also within evacuation, they are looking for a purchasing director. And then within our CETA, our Electronics and Division Avionics company, we have a contracts manager, purchasing manager, contract sales manager, and a key account manager for both the U.S. military and defense contracts and the OEM Americas. So some really, really great opportunities there with CETA. And then with our seats division, we have an MRO sales and operations planning leader and an MRO supervisor. And just one thing I wanted to call out here, because I think it's just so appropriate to what Sadie has been talking about, is that oftentimes we do feel, a lot of us, I've had lots of conversations with people where we feel like we need to check off all the boxes of the job description and say, yep, I'm 100% a match for this, and now I'll apply for it. And sometimes we get into this habit of self-exclusion or limiting ourselves and saying, oh, I don't know that I'm ready for this. I think maybe it's not the right fit for me. I don't want to raise my hand yet. I am inviting any member, if any of these opportunities are of interest to you, if there's a spark in you that you think like, I'm ready for this next step in my career, we invite you to reach out. You can send me an email, you can send me your resume, but we definitely want to continue the conversation. For a lot of these leadership roles, we want to make sure that we're cultivating the talent within and that we're really helping to elevate the individuals that are already here within Safran, especially within our Women at Safran membership team. So reach out, let us know if you're interested, if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer them. We've got lots of HR leaders who would love to talk to you if you're interested in them.
Perfect. Thank you. And then also, if you have additional roles at your site you would like us to spotlight, we want to continue providing these opportunities to you in our future calls. So just let us know that you would like that put out there to this group as well. And we're happy to do that. We, again, would love to have your feedback at the end of all of our calls. So before we wrap up, if you'll please just take 1 minute to complete the survey. We'll also drop the link into the chat if you're not comfortable using the QR codes. Your feedback helps us understand what's working well, what you'd like to see more of, and how we can continue making Women at Safran meaningful and engaging for everyone. All right. And before we sign off today, we hope you enjoyed our guest speaker, Sadie. We hope that she brought up a lot of points that you'll start looking internally and, thinking within yourself as you're trying to put yourself out there as a leader. We want to encourage you to keep spreading the word about Women at Safran, share our mission, share our upcoming events with all of your colleagues. There's so many ways that you can get involved, whether it's joining our event, volunteering, or even collaborating on new ideas. Your participation helps make a difference with us. So thank you again for joining us today, for everything you do to help make our community grow. And we look forward to connecting with you again. Our next call will be December the 11th. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks, Sadie.
Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Thank you. Bless you.
Bless you.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.